So we are going over tonight, chapter 2, okay? And what we're going to be talking about is New Jersey real estate business slash offices. So we're going to be talking a lot about advertising, about the different types of the different types of offices that you could have, a main office, a branch office, how long do you have to keep files for, that kind of stuff. So here's what happens in the state of New Jersey, okay? We're going to talk about the two different types of offices and what you need to have for each one. So there's going to be what's referred to as a main office, okay? And this is where the broker / broker of record hangs their license, okay? So, and they supervise that office. They supervise that office, okay? And when I say they supervise that office, what happens is the real estate commission says that they have to be there during normal business hours, 40 hours a week, okay? That's what the real estate commission says. Now, in the day of in regards to the day of technology, are they actually physically there 40 hours a week? No, probably not. You know, they're probably not there 40 hours a week. Okay. So that's the situation in regards to that. They're probably there less, you know. But as far as what the real estate commission says, they say you have to be there 40 hours a week. And that comes into play when we talk about the other thing that you could have. So let's say I had a main office in Freehold, New Jersey, okay? And then I wanted to open up a branch office. I wanted to open up a second office, okay? Branch office is any other location, okay? Now, when we talk about these locations, there's a couple things that we have to talk about with each and every office. So every office, okay, every single office, every office must have the broker or the broker of record name and title on the door or window or prominently displayed. Okay, so when you walk up to any real estate office in the state of New Jersey, okay, you should be able to easily identify who is the responsible party, okay? You know, who is the responsible party in regards to that office. And when I say the broker or broker of record, understand I mean the owner of the company, the one who has been deemed the responsible party, okay? So on every office, their name has to be there. Now, when we're talking about branch offices, okay, branch offices are somewhat unique. They must have a broker salesperson supervising that office, okay? So every single branch office must have a broker salesperson supervising or managing that office, okay? So what happens is people always ask me, Stu, why would you want to be a broker? Like, why would you want to go and get your broker's license, okay, if you didn't want to open up your own company? So here's the thing. Little dirty fact about me, I've never owned my own real estate company, okay? I've never been a broker of record either, okay? I have never been the responsible party because that's something as far as what I want to do personally, I don't want to be the responsible party. I don't want to be the one that everything falls on me. Not happy with that. I'm happy being a little Stu in the corner, saying my words, doing what I got to do, and then going home at the end of the day, sipping my coffee at home and going, that was a great day, and putting it all behind me. I'm super happy with that, okay? But something that I have done, okay, is I have been for many years, I have been a managing broker at various offices where I'm in charge of my own little office, not the company, okay, but I'm in charge of my own little office. So I've managed small offices, big offices, commercial offices, you name it, I have probably had my hands in it. So that's a reason some people do go out and get their broker's license, is so that they could go ahead and manage an office for someone else if they wanted to. Okay, if they wanted to. So now the other thing that I'm going to say is this. Okay, when it comes to, I said that the broker's name has to be on there. What if they have a nickname? What if they have a nickname? Does it have to be their legal name? What do you think? What do you guys think? Well, I think also. Type it in the chat. What do you think? So, for advertising purposes, okay, you must advertise with legal name. Okay, you must advertise with legal name. So if the real estate commission, okay, if the real estate commission has you down with your middle initial, your middle name, you better believe that on everything that you are going to do in New Jersey, you must be using your legal name. So I have a friend up in Middlesex, okay? My friend's name is Rajvish Dogra, okay? And Rajvish, obviously everyone doesn't call him Rajvish, okay? We call him Raji baby. So what happens is this. He can't simply put Raji baby on the business cards, okay? He can't put Raj, okay? Now if he wanted to, he could put them in quotations. He could go quotation Raji baby, okay? He could do that. Some people put a nickname in the middle, okay? I've seen people put Bunny, okay? They would rather everyone knows me as Bunny, okay? One of my favorite realtors out there, her name is Peachy. Peachy is one of my favorite realtors, probably one of the nicest realtors in New Jersey. Peachy. And she has to put that, though, in quotations because Peachy is not her legal name. I think it's Lenora or something like that. I don't know. But one of the nicest realtors. I'm actually using real realtors' names too. So you guys know. I'm using real examples that I've come across in my real estate career. So I've seen Raj, Bunny, Peachy. And it all depends. If you have something that you want to put out there as far as you would prefer people to call you this, like me, I personally don't care if you call me Stu, Stewart, Stewie. I don't mind either way. Okay, so I don't have a personal preference where I put Stewart, Stu quotation marks Jacobson. No, I just put Stewart Jacobson. Actually, legally, I have to put Stewart J Jacobson because my middle initial is represented in my legal name on my real estate license. So that is how the real estate commission has me down as. That is how I must advertise everything. So Stewart J. Jacobson. And the reason for that, so the logic behind that, just so you guys know, is so that if you went to the Real Estate Commission's website and typed in Stewart J. Jacobson, boom, my license status comes right up. So if you put in Peachy, though, you might not find it, but you would have to type in the person's full legal name, okay? So that is why they do that. So that's up there for public inspection. So you could just sit there and, type in anyone's legal name into the Real Estate Commission's website, and you can find what office they are, where their license is, how long they've been licensed, who's their employing broker. All that stuff is visible. So that's the reason why you have to advertise with your full legal name, so that they could literally type that into the site and go, oh, okay, that's so-and-so, I see where they are. I see who it is. That's all that stuff there. Okay. So any questions, concerns, burning desires right now on the stuff that we just went over, the stuff that I just covered? Pretty straightforward. And I'll just say a little housekeeping in regards to the chapters. So I go over the really what you need to know in a chapter. Okay. So I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version of the chapter. I'm giving you the Stu speed reading version of the chapter. Okay. You should go through it though with a fine tooth comb in regards to reading it over, taking a look at it, seeing what you come up with. Because I do think that there is little nuggets to get from reading through the chapter and really kind of getting the more in-depth view. Again, the stuff that I have here, I think that it's really important for you to get used to and have a more conversational definition of what the important stuff is, you know, the meat and potatoes. But everything else, I think that you should, like I said, supplement it and reinforce it with uh, with the book. So I'm going to do a little erasey, okay, so that we get more room up here, okay. And now we're going to talk about trust or escrow accounts. Trust or escrow accounts. So every broker needs to open one up, okay, in the state of New Jersey. Every broker needs to have one, okay. And what this is this is a non-interest bearing escrow account, okay. So it's non-interest bearing, okay. Is it bearing or bearing? It's bearing. I don't know. It's, you know what I'm talking about. So it's a non-interest bearing account. And what it is it's a place for clients' money. Okay. And when I say client, I'll also say client or principal because I want you to start getting used to that. For clients or principals' money, synonyms for one another. So that's what we will use. We will use the terminology client or principal when we're talking about anyone that we are representing. Okay. So that being said, the place for client or principal's money. Now, there's a couple things you need to know that are illegal. There's the first thing is commingling. Okay. That's the mixing of operating funds with escrow funds. So you cannot mix them. That is illegal. That is a no. Okay. But what happens is it does occasionally happen. It does happen where there might be let's say a mix up with deposit slips. Like I've had that happen a lot where there's an innocent mistake that's made and you could just write a letter to the real estate commission and say, hey, this happened. We pulled it out. Here's what happens. This is the accounting for it. And here's the thing. Every single brokerage needs to keep a careful accounting in and out in regards to the escrow account. Now, things need to be deposited in there. Deposits need to be made within 5 business days. Now, you have to deposit that money in there if you're going to be collecting clients' money. You must put that in there ASAP, okay? Because you do not want to get into a situation where things go south and then all of a sudden someone's saying, hey, you have that money that you said that you had, right? And you never cash the check and then the client puts a stop on it. Oh my gosh, that could be deep poo-poo, okay? That's all on you, all right? Now, the next thing that you want to know in regards to messing around with clients' funds is conversion, or this is also known as misappropriation, also known as embezzlement. This is using a client's funds for personal, okay, or business uses, okay? Bernie Madoff, that's a little bit of conversion right there, okay? Taking your client's money. And here's the thing, they're two different things. Like if you use a client's money for your personal or business uses, okay, then what happens is you might not have commingled, like you might have just straight up used it without, just cash it. Yeah, let's do it. So the two don't necessarily go hand in hand. And also when you commingle, you might not have actually intended to use it or misappropriate it or embezzle, right? It might have been an innocent clerical error, and that happens more than you would probably think. But is there any questions so far on this stuff right here? Trust or escrow accounts, things like that. Bloody blee, bloody blah. Nope. Cool beans. So let's talk about how long we have to keep paperwork for in the state of New Jersey. Okay. And that length of time varies. So for unaccepted offers, okay, and that would be 6 months. That would be 6 months. For accepted offers, listings, and executed contracts, $6 years. Okay. 6 years. So it's basically the rule of 6, I refer to it as. Unaccepted offers, 6 months. Accepted offers, listings, and executed contracts, 6 years. Also leases, things like that, all be 6 years. And we'll talk about what an executed contract is. Basically that, when we get into contracts, that's basically a completed, done, finished contract, okay? So 6 months for unaccepted offers, 6 years for anything else pretty much. And what happens now is mostly people keep everything digital, okay? Mostly everything's digital. And it has to be kept. The brokerage needs to have access to it. So what happens is this: if you're out playing realtor in, a part of the state, and you're like la-dee-dee, la-dee-da, and you don't get your paperwork to your broker could be in deep poo-poo, okay? Because they need to have the paperwork that you have, because that is technically not your paperwork. Because when we talk about in chapter 3, the agency relationships, the agency relationship is actually with the client and the broker, not yourself. You are a representative of them, okay? So that is how long we have to keep things there, okay? Any questions, concerns, burning desires about that? So we have to talk about a couple other things, okay, before we wrap up tonight. First other thing that we have to talk about is this: the location of the brokerages. This is something I didn't really talk about when we were talking about the branch office and main office. An office can never be in the home of a salesperson or a broker salesperson. It can be in the home of the broker of record, okay? So you can have an office in the home of the broker of record as long as there are separate entrances. There is a sign visible from the street, okay? And the workspace and the living space are separate from one another, okay? It can never be in the office of a salesperson or a broker salesperson, okay? So that is the situation right there. So that being said, let's talk about advertising a little more. So we said it has to have legal name in any advertising. Also, the brokerage name must be larger. How much larger? Just has to be larger. Just has to be larger. It could be a quarter of a pitch of a font. It has to be larger. As long as it's larger, you can make it in a totally different color. You can do all that kind of stuff. The brokerage name must be larger than your name. Silly rule. That's the rule, though. Okay? So, that being said, let's talk about a couple other things, and then we're going to be done. Price fixing. Okay? This is the Sherman antitrust. Okay? You cannot collude with another broker to set commission rates. You cannot collude with another broker to set commission rates. There is no industry standard. The commission rates are all negotiable. Okay, every single commission rate is negotiable in the state of New Jersey, across the country. Every single commission is negotiable. So you can't sit down with your friend and say, hey, we're all going to charge 6%. Woohoo! Can't do that. Can't woohoo that, okay? You must must refrain from price fixing. Okay, must. Now, the other thing and the last thing that we'll talk about today is the fact that commission rebates as of 2009 are legal in New Jersey. What does that mean? That means that a real estate broker could rebate to their buyer any percentage of their commission they would like. Any. But it must be to the legal purchaser of the real estate. It cannot be to a third party. That would be considered a kickback. Okay. It must go to the buyer. Okay. Must go to the buyer. That commission could be rebated in any percentage of it. Okay. Any percentage of it. There is no customary amount that they would do. So any amount is perfectly legal to give to the buyer. Okay. But not to any other parties. So, guys, there are other things that you will find in the written chapter version of this book, but what happens is I like to go over them in chapter 3 when we're talking about agency relationships. So the rest of the stuff in this chapter, I really, like I said, like to push off to chapter 3 because I feel that it's more relevant there, and I also feel that it just fits in a lot nicer. So, do you guys have any questions, concerns, burning desires? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for this chapter. So this will be up on YouTube sometime probably within the next day. So that being said, everyone on YouTube, have a great one.